look at your phone. If you are like millions of Americans, scrolling through astrology apps at 2 a.m., looking for answers to why your life feels like a chaotic rerun, you are being played. We think checking our daily horoscope is an act of self-discovery. What if it's actually the ultimate trap? You read a description that says Scorpios are secretive, or Virgos are perfectionists, and you feel seen. But here is the terrifying paradox. The moment you accept that label, you surrender your free will. You download a pre-written script into your subconscious mind. You aren't discovering who you are. You are installing a cosmic cage. We complain about social media algorithms trapping us in echo chambers, yet we willingly let stars trillions of miles away dictate our emotional stability today. It's a systemic prison. Why does a modern, tech-savvy generation fall so hard for ancient cosmic determinism? Because uncertainty paralyzes us. We prefer a dark, predetermined fate over the terrifying freedom of absolute responsibility. But there is a glitch in this matrix. Thousands of years before Western astrologers turned the Zodiac into a multi-billion-dollar coping mechanism, an ancient perspective looked at the stars and saw something entirely different. They didn't see gods or destiny. They saw an automated karmic operating system, designed to keep your mind on infinite loop. And tonight, we are going to extract the code to break it. Let's talk about your morning. The alarm goes off at 6 a.m. Before your eyes even fully open, before you even recognize the room you are in, your hand does something scary. It moves on its own. It reaches out, grabs your smartphone, and you start scrolling. You don't decide to do this. Your body just executes a pre-programmed command. I know this exact loop because I spent years trapped inside it. In my world of digital production and running an automotive trading business, everything was about numbers. Click-through rates, revenue charts, and constant alerts. I told everyone I was building a life of freedom. But in reality, I was just a highly paid slave to my own reactions. I was completely exhausted, running on an invisible treadmill that never stopped. One rainy night, my video editing software crashed for the third time while rendering a heavy project. I sat there in the dark, watching the frozen screen reflect my own tired face. I felt a deep, hollow anxiety burning in my chest. My immediate instinct was to blame something outside. I blamed the outdated software cache, the bad weather, or the unfair timing. It's no different from looking at your birth chart and saying, "I'm having a terrible day because Mercury is in retrograde." It is a massive lie. We use these cosmic excuses because our ego is terrified of one thing: taking absolute responsibility for our own mind. I wasn't living my life. A beautifully designed software of anxiety and survival was living through me. This is where the modern Western mind gets completely blindsided. We buy crystals, download apps like Company Star, and watch endless sci-fi shows about the Matrix, thinking we are searching for truth. But let's be honest. We aren't looking for freedom. We are looking for a comfortable prison cell. When you read your Zodiac profile and say, "Well, I'm a Scorpio," so it's natural for me to hold a grudge. You are not discovering yourself. You are just signing a contract to stay broken. You are using spiritual words to justify your oldest psychological flaws. It's a clever trick of the mind to avoid the raw discomfort of the present moment. Look at Siddhartha Gautama. Before he became the Buddha, he was a real human being living in a real palace. He had the ultimate version of the American dream: endless wealth, luxury, and security. Yet, he walked away into the cold mud of the forest because he realized that luxury inside a cage is still a cage. He didn't look at the stars to fix his day. He sat down, looked inward, and mapped the human brain like a master software engineer. He found that our minds are constantly hijacked by Sankara deep, automated reactions to what we like and what we fear. Your zodiac sign is not a cosmic gift. It is the default factory setting of your machine. If you only live according to your natural traits, you are not being authentic. You are just letting the machine run on autopilot. To rewrite this code, we have to look directly into the battlefield of our inner warfare. Think about the ultimate American superhero story. Someone who acquires cosmic powers, rebels against the establishment, and attempts to break the matrix. Thousands of years before Hollywood invented Neo or Doctor Strange, ancient Eastern traditions documented the definitive battle of the ego. It is the legend of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. This wasn't just a magical creature, he was an absolute force of nature. He could leap across entire galaxies in a single somersault, shapeshift into 72 identities, and single-handedly defeat the armies of heaven. He grew so fiercely arrogant that he challenged the Buddha himself, demanding the throne of the universe. The Buddha looked at him with profound composure and offered a simple wager: if you can genuinely leap out of the palm of my right hand, I will give you everything you desire. Wukong smirked. He summoned his magical cloud and flew at supersonic speed toward the absolute edge of reality. He flew for what felt like eternities, crossing cold nebulas and burning stars, until he finally reached the literal end of the universe. There, standing in the cosmic mist, were 5 colossally massive, pink stone pillars touching the sky, to leave an undeniable footprint of his historical achievement. Wukong took a brush, wrote his name in glowing ink on the central pillar, and left a crude, earthly mark at the base. He felt absolute triumph. He flew back, landed on the Buddha's palm, and demanded his reward. But the Buddha simply told him to look down. Wukong looked at the Buddha's open hand and froze in absolute horror. There, on the Buddha's middle finger, were the exact words he had written at the edge of the universe. The base of the Buddha's thumb bore the exact mark he had left behind. He had never left the palm at all. This is the precise moment where our modern illusion collapses. This story is not a children's fairy tale. It is an incredibly precise psychological and geopolitical map of your own mind. The 5 massive pillars Wukong encountered at the edge of space are what ancient psychology calls the 5 skandhas, the 5 heaps that construct your artificial reality form: sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Wukong represents your hyper-intelligent, restless ego. He is the tech entrepreneur trying to optimize his life with biohacking, the burned-out executive moving to Bali to find himself, or the person checking their birth chart to dodge an emotional crisis. We think we are making independent, free-willed moves on the chessboard of life. But the terrifying truth is, we are just bouncing around inside the pre-defined parameters of our own internal matrix. The dark secret that mainstream astrologers and modern gurus hide from you is the zodiac signs and cosmic charts are not maps of your potential. They are the architectural blueprints of your prison. They represent the 12 links of dependent origination, the automated loops of cause and effect that keep your mind reacting on autopilot. When you feel that sudden spike of jealousy, that desperate need for validation, or that heavy urge to escape into a screen, that is not your soul speaking. That is the software running its script. Wukong failed to escape because he tried to fight the system using the system's own spatial rules. He ran away. But how can you run away from a matrix that is actively generating your very perception of distance? To win a rigged game, you must stop running. The path to true sovereignty does not lie at the edge of the universe. It begins when you dare to turn your gaze completely inward and look at the hand itself. Here is the grand revelation, the ultimate payoff that shatters the cosmic matrix. Prepare yourself, because this is the heaviest hit your ego will ever take. You are not the doer of your actions, and you are not the thinker of your thoughts. When a wave of intense anger, deep insecurity, or overwhelming anxiety crashes over you, your default programming immediately says, "I am angry. I am anxious." This is the critical system error. The moment you identify with the emotion, you reboot the automated software. You claim ownership of a virus. In my own journey, when the pressure of managing global supply chains and digital media metrics grew too heavy, I used to sink into dark spaces, thinking those thoughts defined my worth. But they didn't. They were just data. Traditional empirical practice offers a radical debugging tool: bare observation. When an emotional trigger hits, instead of reaching for an astrological app or a distraction, you pause. You adopt the perspective of a detached software developer looking at a glitch in a laboratory. You look at the anger not as yours, but merely as an impersonal energetic frequency passing through the biological hardware. You witness the physical tightness in your chest, the hot flash in your face, the heavy weight in your gut. You don't judge it, you don't suppress it, you just watch it run its course. Any automated program requires your active attention to survive. When you stop feeding it your identity, the algorithm starves. The wave arises, peaks, and inevitably dissolves back into nothingness. This is how you reclaim your absolute sovereignty. Your chart might predict a storm, but it can never force an awakened mind to drown. You are the vast, unshakable sky. The zodiac signs and worldly chaos are just passing clouds. Turn off the autopilot. Activate your internal Dharma operating system. And finally start living an unscripted life.